Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday. Russia has reduced the discount it offered India on oil purchases as it has seen increased demand from other countries including China, Mint reported. India reportedly used to get discount of about $15 to $20 per barrel, but that has now fallen to $5 to $10. Russia overtook Saudi Arabia to become China's top oil supplier during January and February, the Chinese government data showed. China's 30-year-old Grandmaster Ding Liren defeated Russia's 32-year-old Grandmaster Ian Nepomniachtchi in World Chess Championship 2023 to become the World Chess Champion. The winner was decided via tiebreak after score was tied at 7-7 following the classical game. With this, Magnus Carlsen reign as World Championship ended after 10 years. Carlsen announced last year that he won't defend his title. The suspected chief of the terror outfit ISIS, Abu Hussein al-Qureshi, was killed by Turkish forces in Syria. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan had announced. Al-Qureshi was pursued by Turkey's national intelligence organization for a long time, Erdogan said. He succeeded Abu Ibrahim al-Hashmi al-Qureshi, who set off a blast killing himself last year after the US forces surrounded him. The central government has blocked 14 mobile messenger apps that were reportedly being used by terrorists to send and receive secret messages to and from Pakistan. As per several media reports, the list of blocked apps include Cryptvisor, Enigma, SafeSwiss, Wickerme, Mediafire, Birar, BChat, Nantbox, Konanian, Emo, Element, Second Line, Zangi, and Threema. The central government on Monday told Supreme Court that it has initiated the process of re-examining the colonial-era sedition law. The centre informed the Apex Court that it was reconstructing Section 124A of the Indian Penal Code, which criminalizes the offences of sedition. It further said that consultations on review of Section 124A are at advanced stages. The collapse of the First Republic Bank, which had $229 billion of assets as of April 13 and is now being sold to JP Morgan, has become the second largest bank failure in US history. The 2008 collapse of Washington Mutual, with $307 billion in holding, remained the largest bank failure in US. Silicon Valley Bank's March 2023 failure is the third largest. The United States could run out of cash and default on its debt as early as June 1st if Congress fails to increase or suspend the debt limit, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has warned. The debt limit is the total amount of money that US is allowed to borrow. It's impossible to predict exact date. Treasury will be unable to pay bills, Yellen said. If the US government runs out of money to pay its bill, it will default on its national debt. This will cause severe hardship to American families and harm to the country's global leadership position, Janet Yellen said. As per experts, a possible default crisis could send the US into another recession and throw global economy into a financial crisis. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh on Tuesday handed over a fast patrol vessel and landing craft assault ship to Maldives' National Defense Force (MNDF). It is a symbol of our shared commitment towards peace and security in the Indian Ocean region, Singh said. We produce world-class equipment to meet not only our own needs but also for exports, he added. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met Iran's Secretary of Supreme National Security Council Ali Shamkhani on Monday. Shamkhani urged India to increase the use of rupee and rial for bilateral trade. saying this would help both countries achieve their joint economic objectives. Doval also met Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, who committed to expand Iran's economic relations with India. The Indian and French air forces are participating in a joint aerial drill as part of a multinational air exercise at French Air Base of Mont-de-Marsan. The exercise Orion includes 4 Rafale jets, 2 C-17 aircrafts and 2 IL-78 mid-air refuelers developed by India. This exercise marks the first overseas exercise for the Indian Air Force Rafale jets. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has said that Ukraine shouldn't use weapons supplied by it to attack Russian territory. It is important that the weapons that we supply to Ukraine to defend itself aren't used in attack on Russian territory, Scholz stated. This comes after German Defense Minister last month said that it was fully normal for Ukraine to carry out attack on Russian soil. A cyclone is expected to develop over the southeastern Bay of Bengal on May 9th, according to the Indian Meteorological Department IMD. IMD has not yet specified its path, intensity, and the areas over which it may move, and it hasn't issued any forecast for landfall over the Indian coast yet. If the cyclone is formed, it will be called as Mocha. National Thermal Power Corporation marked its first overseas power plant capacity addition in Bangladesh named Maitri Super Thermal Power Plant MSTPP. The project will have 2 units of 660 megawatt each. The project was executed in collaboration with the Bangladesh India Friendship Power Company, a foreign joint venture company of NTPC. With this new addition, NTPC installed capacity has gone up to 72,304 megawatts. The World Bank on Wednesday confirmed Indian origin Ajay Banga has been selected as its next president for 5 years term. The board looks forward to working with Mr. Banga on World Bank Group evolution process, the bank said in a statement. Former MasterCard CEO Ajay Banga, 63-year-old, will take over the role from David Malpass on June 2nd this year. The 12th round of India-Egypt Foreign Office consultations were held this week in Cairo of Egypt. The consultations were co-chaired by Dr. Asif Saeed and Ayman Kamil. Both sides undertook a comprehensive review of the entire range of the bilateral relations covering political, trade and commerce and investments. They also discussed ways to strengthen ties between India and Egypt and enhance cooperation in multilateral forums. India and Russia have suspended negotiations to settle bilateral trade in rupees, Reuters reported, citing sources. Russia is not comfortable holding rupees and wants to be paid in Chinese yuan or other currencies. We don't want to push rupee settlement anymore. India has tried everything we could to try and make this work, but it hasn't helped, a source said. Bilawal Bhutto on Thursday became the first Pakistani foreign minister to arrive in India after 12 years. After meeting him, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said that one cannot talk about terrorism and peace simultaneously. He criticized Pakistan and said, victims of terrorism don't sit with perpetrators of terrorism to discuss terrorism. Pakistan's credibility in dealing with terrorism is depleting even faster than forex reserves. And also said that one must wake up and smell the coffee. The demand for the estate status for the non-tribal Meitei community and the alleged eviction of people from the tribal settlements have led to violent clashes and protests in the state of Manipur. The Manipur High Court in April ordered the state to consider the Meitei's request for ST status. Additionally, tribes have protested the designation of tribal areas as protected forests. India's Olympic gold medal javelin throw winner Neeraj Chopra won the Doha Diamond League by margin of 0.04 meters. The 25-year-old posted a best throw of 88.67 meters, while the second best, Jakub Veldwich, posted a best throw of 88.63 meters. Neeraj had won the Diamond Trophy last year too. India's foreign exchange reserves surged by $4.532 billion to record a 10-month high of $588.78 billion for the week ending April 28, according to RBI data. In the previous reporting weeks, the reserves had dropped to $2.164 billion to $584.248 billion. The country's foreign exchange asset also jumped by $4.996 billion to $519.485 billion in the latest week. Designated Terrorist and Khalistani Commando Force KCF Chief Paramjit Singh Panjwar alias Malik Sardar Singh was gunned down by two unidentified gunmen in Johar town, Lahore in Pakistan this morning. He was involved in drugs and weapon smuggling using drones into Indian Punjab. Paramjit Singh was born in Panjwar hamlet near Taran Taran. He joined the KCF in 1986 after being radicalized by his cousin Lab Singh. And before that, he used to work at Central Cooperative Bank in Sohal. And now for the segment where we see the events that unfolded this week back in history. 30 April 1789, George Washington inaugurated. George Washington, the first President of the United States, was inaugurated this day in 1789 in Federal Hall in New York City, addressing his constituency on the proceedings of a new and a free government. 1st May 1889, May Day founded. On this day in 1889, May Day, traditionally a celebration of the return of spring marked by dancing around a maypole, was first observed as a labor holiday, designated as such by the International Socialist Congress. 2nd May 1939, Lou Gehrig's 2,130 game streak ended. On this day in 1939, New York Yankee great Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse of American baseball, ended his streak of consecutive games played, that is 2,130, setting a record that stood until 1995 when it was broken by Carl Ripken Jr. 3rd May 1979, Margaret Thatcher elected Prime Minister of Britain. On this day in 1979, Margaret Thatcher of the Conservative Party was elected British Prime Minister, becoming the first woman in Europe to hold that position. She later became the longest continuously serving British Premier since 1827. 4th May 1970, 4 students shot at Kent State. On this day in 1970, an anti-Vietnam War demonstration at Kent State University turned deadly when the Ohio National Guard shot 4 unarmed students and wounded 9 others, further turning public opinion against the war. 5th May 1862, Mexican victory in Battle of Puebla. On this day in 1862, Mexico repelled the French forces of Napoleon III at the Battle of Puebla, a victory that became a symbol of resistance to foreign domination and now celebrated as a national holiday, Cinco de Mayo. 6th May 1937, Hindenburg disaster. On this day in 1937, while landing at Lakehurst, New Jersey on its first transatlantic crossing of the year, the German dirigible Hindenburg burst into flames and was destroyed, killing 36 out of 97 persons abroad. Well, that's all friends for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.